Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another warm and exciting episode of The Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we look at the whiskies and bourbons to look out for the month of October. Run the video. Alright then folks, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Whiskey Cove. So these videos, the Whiskies to Look Out For videos, has been the bedrock or the backbone of this channel since we kind of began about 13 months ago. If you can believe, time has gone that fast. So to celebrate 5,000 subscribers, what we are doing a free giveaway to all the subscribers out there. A couple of things that you need to do. You need to be a subscriber, and when you finish watching this video, go down in the description below and go over to the Whiskey Cove website where you can sign up for the free giveaway. It doesn't cost anything, just make sure you enter the address that you want the bottle to be shipped to, and then also some of the terms and conditions, if you like, or some of the questions or FAQs are also down in the description below, because some of you folks asked exactly what was needed for the free giveaway. So all that information is in the description below there as well. So the four bottles that we do have is the Old Forester single barrel strength. We have Willet 4-year rye. We have the Weller Antique 107, and then we also have Early Times Bottled in Bond, the Blacktop Brown Foreman edition. So 4 excellent bottles, and we will be revealing another one not too far away in the future. When we get to close to 4,500 subscribers, we will announce another bottle, and then when we hit 5,000 subscribers, we will announce the last bottle. And that's all you folks need to do at home. Is just keep an eye out for the 5,000 live subscriber giveaway, because we will be pulling the 6 names there, and it's your job to get in touch with us if you want the ball, or kind of to claim it there as well. So let's get these balls out of here and let's get on with the episode, shall we? So if you want to give back to the channel, the best way to do it is just simply hit the subscribe button, and also to help out the YouTube algorithm and to get us closer to the 5,000 mark, like the video and comment and share it, and just do everything you can to kind of promote the video as best you can. We really appreciate that here at the Whiskey Cove. With that being said, as usual, we have 6 whiskies to look forward to in this forthcoming month. There are other whiskies being released this month, but we try to take the highlights and kind of go from there with them. So first up, and it's getting to that time of year now, we're going to kind of rye season, toasted whiskey, double barrel season, if you like. And Michter's, of all the people, are back with their barrel strength toasted barrel finish rye. So Michter's coming out of Louisville, Kentucky there. And if you look at the label just on the screen here, it's kind of a matching label to what they usually have for most of the Michter's products that they put out here. Green and gold, beautiful label there. So this is coming in at 103 proof or 51.5% ABV. This is noted as it's going to be a limited release. The cooperage that they used is the first barrel, first charred New American white oak barrels, and then the second barrel is toasted barrel made from 24-month air-dried wood. So I guess they leave it outside for 24 months and then toast it there as well. So like I said, the strength is 103 proof. It says that the bottling strength, each barrel is bottled at a particular alcohol level. It's just associated with the time of bottling there as well. The average strength of the barrels in 2023 release is 108.9 proof. So the proofs will vary. For whatever reason, this particular whiskey was, this particular website that I was on was saying it was 103, but they will vary throughout the kind of small batches, if you like, there as well. Just some of the tasting notes: toffee, honey, black walnut, and a hint of campfire. Perfect for this time of year there as well. Dark chocolate, salted caramel, cherry, mint with a pronounced spiced, balanced out by a rounded oak finish there as well. So yes, like most of the other Michter's limited release, this is going to be limited in every sense of the word. This is going to be a barrel strength rye. So any of the Michter's barrel strengths are usually north of around $100, and this one is no different, because this is coming in at $120 American, which is, it's expensive for a barrel proof rye. Yes, it is toasted, however, it still is quite expensive, but in line with a lot of the other Michter's stuff, which has taken a bit of a price increase in the last year to 18 months. Much like a lot of things there as well. Where can you find this? You can hopefully find it in liquor lotteries or allocation lists around your local liquor store. Obviously, state-run liquor stores will vary there as well. You just have to hunt for it, do your best, put your best foot forward. That was the Michter's Barrel Strength Toasted Barrel Finish. So then next up, moving off from Michter's and going to Yellowstone. That is the Yellowstone whiskey out of Lebanon, Kentucky. So recently on an episode, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, we talked about a single malt that they put out. Haven't had an opportunity to try that, but I thought that was a very aggressively priced single malt, American single malt whiskey, around about $50. But this time they are back with the toasted whiskey. Yes, again, like I aforementioned earlier on, it is kind of toasted whiskey season. This is coming in at 50% ABV or 100 proof. So for a toasted non-cask strength or non-barrel proof, quite high ABV. If you think of like the Elijah Craig, I think that's about 45% ABV. Old Forester 1910 is 46.5 ABV. We usually don't see them come up to 50% ABV. So this is one that kind of gets me a little bit excited for that little proof there. So this is owned by brothers Paul. Yellowstone is owned by brothers Paul and Steve from the legendary Beam family. They have connections there as well. The parent company for Yellowstone is Luxco, which was bought by MGP subsidiary company Ross and Squibb. So Yellowstone is owned by Ross and Squibb, who is in turn owned by MGP. Yeah, I believe that's how it goes. So this is their regular bourbon, which is a blend of 4 to 7 year old barrels. So expect that to be somewhere around the age of this one. So the regular bourbon offering is around 4 to 7 years. So this will probably 5 to 7 years would be my expectation. I couldn't find the exact information on there. And as I said, you know, this is from Lebanon, Kentucky. So it's not a Wyoming or a Montana whiskey company. That's kind of just the name of the brand, is just Yellowstone. So the regular bourbon was 75% corn, 13% rye, and then 12% malted barley. So they just got their regular bourbon and double barreled or toasted it. So that's not going to change. That mash bill is not going to change there. So as I said, the single malt was around $50. The regular bourbon offering is around $50. The single barrel offering that Yellowstone do is $65, and they have a limited edition Yellowstones that they do every year, and that's like $100 to $120. Expect this to fall in probably, and I don't know the price, this is just an assumption. I think this is probably going to fall $60 to $80, somewhere in that bracket. More than the regular and the single malt, but not as expensive as the limited edition, probably similar to the single barrel of $65 there. So that was the Yellowstone Toasted. I think Yellowstone have had really great distribution with their offering. So this is probably something you can find on the shelf. I definitely think if you're trying to look for maybe a new toasted or a new double barrel product this fall, then I think that will be an excellent offering to kind of try that there as well. So we go from Yellowstone Bourbon to Angel's Envy, because they are back with a new release. Why is all these whiskey companies back? I say back all the time. They've never gone away. It's just a new release. So they are, I need to say it again. So they are introducing a new whiskey, and that is going to be the straight rye whiskey, finished in Sawtonness and toasted oak barrels, and this is going to be a cask strength rye. So they've already had some other iterations, special editions, limited editions, if you like. I think they did like a cider finished one not so long ago, and they do the cask strength in regular Angel's Envy every year. So this is the cask strength rye. So the regular rye from Angel's Envy, which is going to cost you close to about $100 or so, is sourced MGP, and then they finish that. I think it was like a rum and some other barrels. So they always tend to finish it on a something, and that's exactly what this is here. Is finished with Sawtonness barrels. The mash bill for the regular rye is 95% rye and 5% malted barley. That MGP mash bill. So expect that to be the same. Sawtonness. What is a Sawtonness barrel? So it's a blend of Semillon, Sauvignon Blanc, and Muscadel grape. So it's kind of like a wine from the Bordeaux region in France there as well. And this, like I said, is a cask strength bourbon, or the regular cask strength offering, which isn't the rye. Runs at about $250. Comes in a nice wooden box. You can probably expect the same with this rye. It'll sit in the $250 kind of region. That's a lot of money for me, and I've been a little bit critical about Angel's Envy with some of their offerings in the past being quite expensive for MGP finished juice. Yes, it has been finished a lot of the time, but still quite expensive, where maybe a blood oath for $100 to $150 for a finished Lexco MGP product, which is more or less exactly the same distillate as you get in here, is $100 less or so. The ABV on this is 59% ABV or 118 proof. So yes, it is finished in saltiness and toasted, so it has a lot of different things going for it. If you want to splurge on a bottle that might be a little bit difficult to find, but with the price point might be a little bit more findable this year, then this might be the one for you if you're someone who likes a rye. However, for me, I probably will not be looking for that, but each to their own. So then moving on, and we are going to Heaven Hill because Elijah Craig are back with their C batch for this year. So this is going to be the C923, the Elijah Craig barrel proof bourbon. This is the mash bill on this is going to be 78% corn, 10% rye, and then 12% malted barley. ABV 66.5% ABV or 133 proof. So classic barrel proof. I think this is probably one of the higher barrel proof Elijah Craig's for the last year or two. Don't quote me on it, but I think it's probably definitely going to be there. What's special about this Elijah Craig barrel proof is that this is the first time that they've introduced a barrel proof Elijah Craig to the A, B, and C range that is not 12 years old for a very long time, because they've gone away from the 12-year-old, because everything used to be always 12-year-old, and it's just going to vary between batches moving forward. However, this one this year does have a little more age. It's coming in with a 13-year and 7-month age statement. I think it's probably going to sit below 12 years moving forward on a consistent level. I just think if they put out a barrel proof Elijah Craig below 12 years, then people will be maybe making comments that kind of they've dropped the age and it's not worth the money. So I think they're coming out really strong with a higher aged bourbon, and then in the next year or two, I think those levels are going to drop off a little bit. I might be wrong, however, that's just my assumption. So the MSRP on this is about $70 is what you're looking to pay. I have been following some stuff on Facebook, and it kind of sounds like this is one that's really taken off, maybe like between $100 and $150 on the secondary market. So you probably want to get in on this. I haven't tried it, I haven't got this bottle. A lot of people are saying this has been the best Elijah Craig for many a year. So if you can get it, definitely put your hands on this. We get a lot of Elijah Craig barrel proof bourbon in Colorado. We get so much of the A and the B batches, but for whatever reason, and this is just pure insanity, you never see the C batches in Colorado. From like the C919 up until this batch, we just don't see the C batches. It is just nuts. I don't know why that happens. We have A and B sitting on shelves here around the Denver area for weeks and weeks and weeks, but we just don't get the C's here. So as I said, new batches are going to be a little bit different for age moving forward, but again, this one's 13 years and 7 months old, and definitely a bottle I'm going to be looking for moving forward there. So from Kentucky, we're going to jump down to Tennessee, and that's because we are stopping by the Jack Daniel's distillery. So you might already know, if you watch these episodes quite consistently, that they came out with the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye, which kind of broke the internet here. And they've released another rye, but it's not barrel proof. It's the Jack Daniel's bonded Tennessee rye. So this jumps into the bonded series, if you like, the 700 milliliter bottles that they have. They have the bonded, they have now this rye bonded, and they had the Jack Daniel's triple mash. All are from the same series, if you like, a bit of a mini series that Jack Daniel are doing. So that, yes, this is bottled and bonded, which means that it's aged at least 4 years is what we know. I wasn't able to find the age on this, but we know because it's bonded at least 4 years. 70% rye in the mash bill, 18% corn, 12% malted barley. So a decent amount of rye in there as well. This does, as it is a Tennessee rye, it does go through the Lincoln County process. What is the Lincoln County process? So basically, they get their white dog or their white distillate that runs off the distill, and then they filter it through sugar maple charcoal. And how they get the sugar maple charcoal is that they bring it in this maple wood on pallets, they burn them, and then they filter all the smoke off. Then they get that charcoal, they put it in a big pit, and then they just drip the white dog or the clear distillate through it the other side, and then they age it in barrels as it comes out the other side there as well. So I've bought this and I've done a review on this already. You can check that out on the channel here. And spoiler alert, I really like this. And yes, I still haven't been able to find the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, which I hear excellent things of. But this bonded rye was a pleasant mouth-watering or a pleasant kind of appetizer to hopefully find in that bigger brother soon. $30, that's all that's going to set you back. So I think that's a stab. I think that's worth everybody's money. In the whiskey game now, what is $30? It's not much, that's for sure. So I think that's a definite buy, and you should be seeing that popping up in shelves pretty consistently through the next couple of weeks here as well. So we have one bottle left, and at the end I want to talk a little bit about the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection as well, so you want to stick around for that. So it's one of my favorite time of year, and that is October, because there's a special bottle that I hold near and dear that gets released every year here as well. We are moving in the 12th iteration of this whiskey, and you can see over my left shoulder here I have a few of the older offerings that they have done, and that is because it is Midwinter Night's Dram month. They are, like I said, back with the 12th edition of it, 49.3% ABV or 98.6 proof. What they do, they get the High West Rendezvous Rye, and then they finish it in French oak port barrels. So what is the Rendezvous Rye? So the Rendezvous Rye is a blend this year of High West's own distillate and then MGP. It used to be all MGP, but every year High West, as they are getting a little bit older as a distillery, are adding more of their own distillate to that. So the MGP mash bill, so for that part of the blend, is going to be the 95% rye and then 5% malted barley, the same as the Angel's Envy because it comes from the same place there. However, the High West distillate blend is going to be 80% rye, 20% malted barley there as well. So the Midwinter Night's Dram are never age stated. There is a lot of discussion online of what that looks like. We can make assumptions based upon what we know about High West Rendezvous Rye. So High West Rendezvous Rye is a blend of 4 to 7 year old whiskies. So they take that whiskey, so that's going to be a blend of 4 to 7 years old. The High West distillate might be a little bit younger, about maybe 4 years, I think so. And then they age it maybe for a year, maybe 2. So I would say anywhere in the region of about 5 to 8 years is probably what you're getting in the bottle there as well. So last year did see a big jump in MSRP, went from $89.99 up to $125. These prices are from the distillery there in Park City, Utah. I have been told, and I've also researched this, that there will be no price jump this year. So at the distillery it will be still $125 if you would like to purchase it. So that's not to say that your states and distributors and stores are not going to get up to their regular stuff or price gouging and putting prices up. In Colorado we see this like $160 to $170, which is just insanity of those markups. High West should be putting out more bottles of this Midwinter Night's Dram because they're not going to be doing an encore release this year, so there should be more bottles than there has ever been. So some of the states that have not been able to get this in years gone by might stand the chance of getting that this year as well. So the official release date for this, if you want to get it from the source in the distillery over in Utah, October 8th, which is a Sunday, and they will release it at the distillery and at the saloon there in the center of Park City. I think last year you could buy a case per person, so you could get 6 bottles of this per person. So if you fancy a trip, if you fancy doing something, then definitely go over and be a part of that, because there's normally a lot of people there, big crowds, good discussion about whiskey there as well. So that was the Midwinter Night's Dram, and I really hope it's good this year. I was a little let down by the last 2, the Encore and the 11 from last year, but High West brought it back with Bull Rye this year, which is just phenomenal. And I actually quite like the cast strength High West bourbon. So the last 2 have been great. The 2 Midwinter Night's Dram from last year weren't so good. So then, lastly, let's talk a little bit about Buffalo Trace Antique Collection and Pappy Van Crinkle. So officially, it's released in the month of October. But of course, you're not gonna, unless you're a famous critic or you have really high connections in high places, you're not gonna see it in the month of October. It gets sent to distributors who hold it back for their customers around Christmas time and Thanksgiving. So that's why I didn't want to talk about it this much, because we don't really know any of the ABVs, the age statement on like the George T. Staggs and the William New Ruler, the Handies and the Sazeracs. The information's limited right now, so I think I'm going to hold off discussing that really in depth until next month, when we have a better idea of exactly the specifications around each bottle there as well, and we can really deep dive into that as well. But you know, you never know, folks. Make sure you're getting those lottery entries in now, doing what you can, hustling, and just kind of hunting as much as you can, and hopefully you can get lucky to get a really special bottle of whiskey. So as I said earlier on, if you haven't already, please sign up for the lottery, be a subscriber, so you can get a decent bottle if you can't get that. And we would love to be able to do this 5,000 subscriber giveaway around Christmas time, because I think that would be perfect. Don't forget to like the video, and as we say on this channel, as we drink through the world's whiskies, one glass at a time, cheers.